Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. Today is Thursday, July 16th, and I am bringing you the start of my most recent bi-weekly grocery haul. For those of you that are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Janice. I live and work in Manitoba, Canada. I work at a Canadian grocery store chain called Sobeys. I do some of my shopping there, a good portion of it because I have a small staff discount, and also because Sobeys and Safeway are Scene Plus sponsors, meaning you can earn and redeem Scene Plus points in store. I also do a good chunk of my shopping at Real Canadian Superstore for the PC Optimum Points program. This particular transaction is actually from Costco. I have been hesitant to go down the Costco rabbit trail just because, anybody who knows, if you've shopped at Costco, you know how easy it is to spend. You don't get out of there without spending a significant amount of money. So we let our membership go for a number of years, 3 or 4 years in there. And then about a year or so ago, when my husband bought a new car, there was a deal on that if you had a Costco membership, that would count as, it was like a promo that it would take a bit of a discount off the new car. So he added one then, but then we really never used it and shopped after because we were just being very careful of not going down the Costco rabbit hole, because it's like I have my grocery budget, but a Costco membership would basically mean having a separate budget just for that, because it's so easy to go in and buy stuff in bulk and spend, I can go into Superstore and spend 100, 200, and maybe 50, 100 at Sobeys, and, keep it at that every 2 weeks. But this, you go to Costco, even though there's only 3 of us in the house, it's easy because there's shoes and clothes and so many other things, and so many things are in bulk. It'd be easy to spend $400 or $500 each time, probably over and above what I already do at Superstore and Sobeys. So, and some things are cheaper at Sobeys and with my discount, and some are cheaper at Superstore, but then some things are probably a little better at Costco because of the bulk. So anyway, we went in there tonight to our brand new one. There's a new one that's just recently been built to look, quote unquote, to look, and ended up adding things to the cart. And yeah, next thing you know, we were committed to renewing our membership. Now, my total on this receipt was $370.03, which is definitely more than I intended. The fellow who came along before we went to the cash register, we were in the lineup, and he came along with a scanner, and he pre-scanned everything for us and said it's $213 before your membership cost and your taxes, which sounded pretty good. And what I didn't realize was that the membership that my husband had gotten to buy the car was the executive membership, which is more expensive. And I thought, once again, we are trying not to go too far down the Costco rabbit hole. So I don't know that we will shop at Costco often enough to justify the executive membership. Yes, the rebate check at the end of every year will be nice, but do we really intend? We could go there every month and probably go crazy, but can we and should we? So because they had already scanned it and added the membership on, I paid the $370, and then we went up to customer service and they refunded the $136.50 or whatever it was ended up being, and then I just paid $65. So you can do the math. It was initially $370. They deducted the $136 because they had to refund that, and then I paid $65. So, I mean, really, if you think about it, you might as well just do it this way. We say $370, and instead of paying $130 or $136, I paid about $65. So you might as well take about $65 to $70 off that bill, and brings it down to around $300 is what I ended up actually paying. So here is what I picked up. A lot of these are things that I just thought these would be handy for my daughter and I, especially, perhaps my husband as well, but especially my daughter and I to take in our work lunches. These Kirkland brand little packets of chocolate chip cookies. Yes, I like to do a lot of my own baking and make cookies, but lately that hasn't been happening as much. I haven't had the time. I haven't been feeling as well to do it. And it's also so hot. I haven't been doing a lot of baking in the summer. I'll probably do some more next month for my fire hall deliveries, but that's a whole nother thing. There was some name brand cookies as well, and they were a couple dollars more than this. I just decided to go with the Kirkland ones because, it's a couple dollars cheaper. So they were $15.99. And that is for, trying to see, 30 packets of little cookies. And then the rotisserie chicken was $7.99. Now, my daughter works at Sobeys along with me, and she works in the HMR department where they do make the rotisserie chickens. And this is actually cheaper than the ones they make. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, even with my staff discount at Sobeys, this one is still cheaper. But, I mean, whatever. How often are we going to go into Costco and get this? If we're not planning on going often, then this is going to be a treat. And even at Sobeys, I don't buy the rotisserie chickens often anyway. So, and then over here, I bought a 3-pack of raisin bread. These were $9.99 on sale, $2 off, so $7.99. And we'll put one in the freezer or the fridge upstairs here, and then just take a couple slices out to toast, and the rest will go in one of our deep freezers until we get around to using them. And then here, is this little Tostitos kit. This is something I'll probably be the one that uses this a lot for my work lunches. This was $26.99 for this set. It was a 13 baggies of little tortilla chips and 8 bags of the Tostitos cheese sauce and 5 containers of the salsa to go along with. So, 13 chips and 13 things of sauce, one way or the other. So I could take a bag of chips and either a cheese sauce or a salsa to work, or to have at home too, but they'll probably come in very handy in my work lunches is what I'm thinking. We are out of 1% milk, so I grabbed a jug of that, $5.94. We've been away for a few days. We just got home a night or so ago. It's Thursday night now? Yeah, I got home 2 nights ago. And I just got paid today, so we haven't gone grocery shopping anywhere yet for me to get milk and stuff, and we had run out of milk before we left. So I needed to get that, $5.94. These little mini hummuses, 24 pouches of that. They are just the traditional, not the red pepper or anything, just the plain, but they're good too. And those are $9.99 for the 24. And then these Fiber One bars back here, the brownie ones are ones my husband wanted. They are $18.99. And then this caught my eye as being a really handy thing, this chicken chili. It is a 6-pack, 6 times 405 grams, and they were $17.99 with $4 off. They're on sale. So I grabbed those. Quite often it happens, I work evenings a lot and I come home and sometimes I'm wondering if my husband cooked something because he's home before me, and sometimes he has, sometimes he hasn't. And in that case, we're scrounging. He might make us up some grilled cheeses and soup or whatever, or we might have some leftovers in the fridge. And then whatever's left, like if my daughter and I eat the leftovers or we eat something different, then he's kind of looking around going, okay, now what am I going to have? Because we just didn't have a plan. And so something like this on the shelf would be very handy. He could, he or I could put one of these in the microwave and cook that up, or on the stovetop. And perhaps, I could even take one of these to work if I really wanted to. So 6 by 405 grams. They are regular $17.99, on sale for $13.99. And then these cheese buns, when we were on holidays, we stayed at my sister's place, and she bought a rotisserie chicken from Costco and these cheese buns, and we served the chicken on that. And they're really, really good. Both the chicken and the buns are really good. So I grabbed a bag of these for $9.99. I believe there's 8 in that bag. And then these frozen chicken breast chunks, I bought those. They are $26.99. So rather than just get your simple basic chicken strips or whatever, that I thought I would try this because I've seen seen online and heard people say that this is quite good. This is a 1.8 kilogram bag. So I'm going to give those a try. Rather than just make the usual $10 bag of popcorn chicken, I'm going to try these. So I'm going to pop those in the freezer right away. And then back here, Good Host iced tea is the brand that's very common here, but I didn't realize that they had this Good Host raspberry lemonade. That is a new one for me. Probably, maybe not. It's probably been around forever, but we haven't been to Costco in a long time, right? So grab that, $13.49. We can make up a picture of that here and there to get through the rest of the summer. And then over here, these last 3 items definitely are not grocery items, but they're just, I didn't take the time to separate them off my bill into being non-grocery. So the package of socks here, that is for me to wear in my work shoes. They are $19.99. That is, 14 pair of them. And back here, the underwear, I bought that for my daughter. That is $19.99 as well. And then this caught my eye, these camisoles with a built-in shelf bra. I grabbed that for myself. That is $24.99. So $19.99 for the socks, $19.99 for the underwear, and $24.99 for the camisole. I'm not sure about the size. I don't know if that's the right size or if I need to go down to XL. I'm pretty sure large would be too snug. I'll try one on and see, and then if it's not going to work, I can take them back. But those 3 items definitely do not belong in the grocery category, but I just didn't take the time to separate them on my bill. Now, I'm going to pause you here, and I will show you whatever else I pick up on the remainder of this pay period. After going a little bit silly in Costco, I don't know how much I'll do on the remainder of this pay period. There are a few other things I'd like to get specifically at Superstore, like some produce items and whatnot. So just stay tuned, and that will be what you see next, most likely. So stay tuned for part 2. Okay, guys, it is Saturday, July 18th, and this is another part to this grocery haul video. This has been, thank goodness it's a 3 paycheck month, because this is an expensive month grocery-wise, partly because we were gone for 5 days, and so we had very little, if any, perishables in the fridge, so we had to restart everything. It's also canning season, so we are buying picking and buying berries to make jam out of, which of course means buying more jars and sugar and sertopectin and all that good stuff. And yeah, just a little bit of everything. Plus we reactivated the Costco membership, which you saw in the last clip. So there's lots of stuff we bought there too. Actually, that's not even lots. That was more just like work snacky type stuff. But you know, it's just is what it is. So, but a lot of stuff that we did run out of just because we let a lot of perishables go before we went away. So this is almost all of this is from Superstore, and it is from 2 separate Superstores because you know what? I need sugar and jars for my canning. I have 4 liters of strawberries that we hauled last night. I want to make strawberry jam and strawberry rhubarb jam. And we have Saskatoon berries now, which I'm going to want to move on to Saskatoon jam. So I needed pectin, like the sertopectin, the jars, and the sugar. And had I realized, like we found some jars at the first Superstore, no problem. But there was no pectin, no serto, or at least there was powder, but not liquid. And no sugar. I always buy the big bags, these 10 kilogram bags, and there was none. There weren't even any small bags. So what I should have done had I been thinking straight is gone in and first of all, looked for the pectin and the sugar, and as soon as I realized that there was none, I should have just abandoned shipped. Abandoned ship basically and gone to the other Superstore and not, because as it is, this ended up being a partial grocery shop, and then that meant because we bought the frozen stuff, we had to run it home and get it in the freezer and then go back out and backtrack, or not backtrack, but just go drive to another Superstore. So I should have thought this through better, but at any rate, I ended up getting everything I needed, but it has not been a cheap month between the berries and the jars and the sugar and the pectin and the Costco and now just the regular groceries. But here we go. Let me show you what I got at the 2 Superstores. Over here, we got the President's Choice brand spring water. Bottled water. It's 24 pack. That was on my offers this week. It's $3, limit of 2. I just bought 1 for right now. That's fine. And then for the canning, I do have some leftover jars from last year. I can reuse the jars and I can reuse the round rings, but I always replace the seals. So I have some 500 ml jars left over, but guaranteed I make 200 to 300 jars every summer. Guaranteed I'm not going to have enough. So, and just even for making strawberry tonight and strawberry rhubarb, yet tonight it's already 7:30 and I'm still planning on making jam tonight. Even just making that alone, I'm going to go through probably 1 to 2 cases of jars tonight, making those 2 kinds alone. So I got 2 more cases of 500 ml jars. Those were $17.99 each, and the 250 ml jars were $15.99. So $17.99 for the 500 ml, $15.99 for the 250. And then I got a raspberry yogurt to make my fruit smoothies with. That was $3.99. The Philadelphia cream cheese is on sale right now, $3.98, limit of 4, so I grabbed those. These are going right in my freezer. I don't need them right now, but I'm stocking up. I'm thinking ahead to Christmas because you know what, guys? It's July 18th. It is 5 months and 1 week till Christmas. Like, it's creeping up on us. I know everybody's like, no, it's summer. Don't talk about snow. Don't talk about Christmas. But I am a Christmas nut. I love Christmas. I'm enjoying my summer. Don't get me wrong. But I'm well aware that our Thanksgiving is in October and of course Christmas is in December, and both of those things will be here before we know it. So if there's a sale on these right now, there's no points on them, but I'm going to stock up because before we know it, it'll be here. So then I'll use that in my baking, whether it's taco dip, which I can make for any gathering, or mini cheesecakes or whatever. But just going to pop those right in the freezer and they will keep. And then because it is so stinking hot, I got a box of the no-name brand ice cream sandwiches for $11. And I am completely out of the frozen kernel corn. I used the last of it up last night, making up some rice and fish and corn for my daughter. Well, for us in general, but especially for her because she really likes that. I ran out of corn, so I grabbed a big 2 kilogram bag. That is $6.79. And then we don't have a lot of produce in the house, so I grabbed a bag of red grapes. I forget how much they were per pound right now. I want to say $2.49 or $2.99. At any rate, they were $8.47 for that bag. And then some sandwich meat for work. I'm not back to work until the 28th of July, but even so, I mean, I still like to have sandwiches anytime, but especially for my work lunches. So the sub trio is one of my usual go-tos at $7, and the rotisserie chicken is $3.75, as is the ham. And then the President's Choice Smokies, these have been on my PC Optimum offers for quite some time. Usually I defer them week after week until they're a good price. And they're not a great price right now, but you can defer up to 4 offers a week on your PC Optimum app. And that is one of them that I keep deferring, waiting for a sale. And they're not on sale, but it wouldn't let me defer them this time. So I'm like, oh no, I guess I better buy them. Wish they would have been a better price. They're $16, But that's fine. I got them. They're going in the freezer, and I've earned points on them, and they'll be there in the freezer when I need them. Now, I did also buy a smaller, like a regular size container of traditional hummus. My daughter has been wanting, she's already wanting to dip into the hummuses that I bought at Costco, the individual ones. Those are meant for work lunches. And she's like, but I want hummus. So I want to save those for work lunches, but I want to use this one for at home. I tend to like the red pepper one. Traditional is fine too, but traditional is the only one that she really likes. So this will be in the fridge just for everyday snacking for whoever wants. 454 grams for $7.49. So that is everything on this first order. The Smokies had points on them. Let's see. I had a PC continuity offer on, what was it? It was $15. Oh, I know what it was. It was on like made in Canada, either like the cream cheeses, sour creams, that kind of thing. That's what it was. And I didn't buy sour cream, but the $3.98 times 4. Yeah, it was like, if you round it up, that would have been $4 times 4. It would have been $16. So like $15.96 is what the cream cheese came out to. So I earned 1,500 points on a continuity offer on that. And then the spring water was 300 points. And then the Smokies I earned 1,600 points. So I spent $144.86 on this order. And at that point, we ran everything home and put all the frozen stuff in the fridge, or frozen stuff in the freezer and cold stuff in the fridge, and we headed back out. But here we go. So I earned on that order 3,400 points, and that left me at the closing balance of 176,325 PC Optimum points, or $176 in points. And then we ended up going back out to another Superstore. And I remembered that I wanted to get these crackers. These are on for $1.86 right now. They're calling them the hit of the month at Superstore. And I've had the pizza ones before and liked them. And my husband recently brought home a box of the ketchup ones, and I quite like those. There's a limit of 6, so I grabbed 3 of the ketchup and 3 of the pizza just to have in the cupboard, take some to work, or to have at home, snack on them with the hummus or with cheese or whatever. $1.86 each. Lay's chips, this was $2.97, limit of 1, so I just got a regular wavy Lay's. I tend to like barbecue flavor, but I bought wavy Lay's just the plain for a reason, because this, at Sobeys, there's not a lot I want to get there this week, but one of the things I do want to get is the hell of a good dip. It's not the world's greatest price necessarily, but there's points on it. So I'm thinking if I go over there and I buy that and the 1 or 2 other things that are on my Scene Plus offers, these plain original chips would be good for dipping in that. So the chips were $2.97, and then the Doritos was also limited 1, $2.99. And then I grabbed some replacement seals, like replacement for my jars. And I believe those were $6.99. Like I said, I reuse the jars, I reuse the rings, but I always replace these. Oh, and I found sugar. These are the 10 kilogram bags. And normally I don't buy 3 at a time, but I know I'm going to be making quite a bit of jam. So I got 3 of these, and they were $15.97. That hurt a bit. You know, as far as the purse, the wallet, that definitely hurt that a bit, because I don't normally spend $47 on sugar in one fell swoop. But I know with the canning I do that I will be using it. And I also know that those 3 bags won't be enough to get me through the whole summer, but it'll get me through the next couple of weeks. So that's a good thing. Mushrooms are on my offer, and they were $3.99. Bananas, not on my offers currently, although they have been in the past, $1.93. Lemons are on my offer. These were $1.25 each. I bought 3, so $3.75 for those. And sugar snap peas, also good to dip in hummus or just to take in my work lunches. They were $10. And then the tomatoes, I forget how much they were per pound, but they were on sale. They were under $2 a pound, I believe. These were $2.74 for these 5. So for this order, I earned 200 points on the tomatoes, 300 on the lemons, and 400 on the mushrooms. So $95.97 on that order. And all told, I will earn 900. And when you tack those points on, I'm now left with 177,225 PC Optimum points. So I'm at $177. However, as I've said before, you can only redeem in increments of $10. So if I wanted to cash them out today, all I could do was $170. Not bad though. And then finally, we went, because Walmart was right next door, we went in there to try and find Certo, and I found it, and I bought a dozen packages. Now, I don't usually buy at Walmart because there's no points, but Certo's also not on my points offers at Superstore either. So either or. And actually, they were supposed to be $4.99 at Superstore, according to their PC Express shopping app, but I couldn't find any. But at Walmart, they're actually $4.57, so they're a little cheaper. I bought a dozen, so you can see that I spent $54.84 on these dozen boxes of Certo. Each of these boxes of liquid pectin have 2 pouches. For every jar, every batch of strawberry jam or strawberry rhubarb, I need 1 pouch. So this will do me for 2 batches. That's great. I could probably do, even if I did 6 batches tonight, 3 boxes down. That still leaves me at 9. Saskatoon, though. The Saskatoon jams are going to take 2 pouches. So 1 batch, 2 batch, 3 batch, right there. Or, 4 batch. The raspberry jam also will be 2 pouches. So each of these boxes will be each box will be 1 batch of Saskatoon jam or 1 batch of raspberry. Or 1 box will be 2 batches of strawberry or strawberry rhubarb. And I forget how much. I also got Haskaps today too, frozen Haskaps, and I can't remember how much I need of pectin in the in that jam. The recipe I saw online, I believe, says for Haskaps you don't really need to add pectin, because whereas with the other cooked jams, you only bring them to a rolling boil and cook them for a minute. I think with Haskap jam they cook longer and they have their own natural pectin, but I'm not used to not using pectin. So I believe when I did Haskap jam a couple years ago, I did put 1 pouch of Certo in just to be sure, and they set just fine. They were great, but I'll have to make sure, go back and look at my recipes and refresh my memory and make sure that's correct. But yeah, I've got 16 liters of strawberries in my fridge now that are hulled, because 4 4-liter baskets, and I've got 2 4-liter baskets of Saskatoons that I'll have to deal with after that. We hauled all the strawberries last night, but we're still going to have to smash them up and get them ready to go. And for the strawberry rhubarb, we're going to have to pick some out of my garden and cut that up. And then tomorrow's a beach day. The Saskatoons are going to sit in my fridge until Monday, and then we'll mash those up and make Saskatoon jam. And the Haskaps are frozen, so I can get to them whenever I get to them. There's no rush. Tuesday, though, we're scheduled to go out to a farm outside the city and go pick sour cherries, which means Tuesday night we're going to be sitting around pitting sour cherries, and Wednesday we'll make sour cherry jam, and at some point, maybe Thursday, Friday, something like that, we'll get the raspberries and hopefully get raspberry jam made. So, it's busy. Thank goodness I'm on holidays, quote unquote, until the 28th. So anyway, this is what I picked up. I may show you what my berries that I got, but other than that, this is what I picked up at Superstore. Other than that, I might just show you what I did pick up berry-wise, and if there's anything I get at Sobeys, I'll show you that, and then I'll wrap this video up. Okay, so here is what I just picked from my little garden of rhubarb outside. There's lots more out there still. My garden's getting overtaken by weeds too. It's just silly. But my rhubarb plant goes crazy every year. This is what I picked tonight. I'm going to have to cut the leaves off yet and still have this all chopped up. But this is just what I brought in for now to go with, to make into strawberry rhubarb jam. And over here, 2 4-liter baskets of Saskatoon berries that were picked today. And also bought 3 3-pound bags of Haskap berries, and they're already frozen. So I think my husband wants to use 1 bag just in his smoothies, and I'm going to freeze the other 2 bags, most likely for jam making. Maybe a little bit left over for my smoothies if I don't use them all up in jam, but I suspect I'll use most of these in jam. These 2 front baggies right here, these 2. His is the one in back. But yeah, these are Saskatoon berries. Different than blueberries, similar but different. They're more purple. They kind of look blue right now there, but you can see some look more purple, and they definitely look very purple when you're handling them and when they're crushed. They're different than blueberries. They're similar but different, and I think they're really, really good. And there's lots more rhubarb outside where that came from. Disregard the dirty dishes in the sink, by the way, too. Alrighty, so here we have the results of 4 4-liter baskets of strawberries. These ones are already getting ready to be washed. So those ones were in this bowl up until a couple minutes ago. So this is basically 16 liters of strawberries, 4 4-liter baskets. My daughter and I hulled all these last night. So yeah, that's a lot of strawberries. Most of them are going to go into strawberry jam and or strawberry rhubarb jam. So that's that. Got to work on getting them all rinsed, and they're all hulled. They got to all be washed now and portioned out into whatever amounts we need for the jams. All right, so today is now Tuesday, July 21st, and these are a couple of items I picked up at Sobeys yesterday on July 20th, Monday. I'm still on holidays for another week, and I just stopped into work yesterday to pick up these blueberries primarily and this dip. The dip has a points offer on it, and the blueberries are on sale for $4.44. Now, when I did my grocery shopping at Superstore the other day, I saw they also had the blueberries on for $4.44, and blueberries are even on my points offer. But I did not buy them there because I know that at Sobeys they're $4.44, and then my 10% staff discount over and above that, so making them a little bit cheaper. And as well, I have a $10 Sobeys gift card to use. So anyway, so that's why I opted to get them at Sobeys this time, and I bypassed them at Superstore despite having a PC Optimum offer on blueberries, because they're the same ticket price, but because I'm a staff member at Sobeys, I have a 10% discount, so that takes a little bit off, and with the gift card, I really am out of pocket very little. Now, the hell of a good dip back here, this is it's $8.49. Thankfully, thankfully I do have my staff discount over top of that, because that's not the cheapest price ever, that is for sure, but it is a good size packet, or container rather, 680 grams. So $8.49, and I bought that, you know, it isn't the best price, it's not on sale, but I bought it because there's a points offer. So Scene Plus points, 50 points offer on that. So I earned 50 points there. And then, like I said, these two containers of blueberries are $4.44 each before my 10% off. So I'll show you, here's the 50 points up here. There's my staff discount, $1.74. My total was $15.63, and I had a $10 gift card, which I used, so I was out of pocket $5.63. So I was going into this with 25,448 points, and I earned 50. And I also earned some points on a pharmacy purchase yesterday too. I can't remember how many off the top of my head, but I just now checked my Scene Plus app, and I am over. I'm still in the $250 range. I earned 50 points there and another 40 something points, so under like 100 points. So I'm still at the $250 mark of Scene Plus points. It's like 25,500 and something. I want to say 525, I believe, which is still $250 in points, but still every point adds up. And then over here, we drove out to Carmen today to a berry picking farm, and I picked sour cherries. These were $19 a piece, like $19 per 4-liter pail, so $38 there. And then I did pick up a couple small things at the co-op in Carmen on the way home, which I will show you after this, and that will wrap up this video. So right now, once I'm done with this, I'm going to be continuing on with my jam making. I have a little bit of strawberries left over. I'm going to take some strawberries, some of these blueberries that I got at the store. I'm going to mash up some of those, and mash up some of the Saskatoons that we picked on the weekend, and try and make a triple berry jam. And then make my regular Saskatoon berry jam. And then hopefully tomorrow we can get these sour cherries pitted, and I can work on sour cherry jam. And I'm hoping in the next day or two as well to also go out and get raspberries picked and make raspberry jam too. And then hopefully I can get one more beach day in on either Friday or Saturday. And I'm still off work Sunday, Monday, and then back to work next Tuesday, a week from now. But I'm still hoping to get my triple berry jam made, my Saskatoon berry jam made, my sour cherries pitted and made into jam, raspberries picked and made into jam, and then hopefully enjoy the weekend with a beach day or two or something in church on Sunday before returning to work next week. So even though I'm on holidays, you can tell by that little whirlwind list of everything I want to try and do, even though I'm on holidays, it's still pretty busy. But these are all grocery type things anyway. I did just buy a couple things at the co-op in Carmen, which I'll show you. I had bought like a 2-piece chicken dinner to have in the car just to munch on out of their hot food department. You'll see that on the receipt, but the only other things I bought were 2 containers of hummus, so I will show you that right away, and then I will finally get this video wrapped up and uploaded. Okay, so here are the 2 items I picked up in the co-op in Carmen, outside of the chicken dinner that I bought myself, the 2-piece. That was the 2-piece chicken meal. I had that in the car. It was $6.99, and of course there was tax on it. But we're kind of on a bit of a hummus kick here at home. Like, I bought the mini ones from Costco to have in work lunches, and then I told my daughter, I said, look, I don't want to eat all those up just every day. Like, I want to use those in the work lunches. So I had bought at Superstore the regular size of the original flavored hummus just to have at home. And then while we were in co-op, I decided to kind of price these out because they were kind of right nearby where the hot food section was. And I don't recall having seen this everything bagel flavored hummus before, so I decided to give that a try. That was $5.29. Now it's only a 227 gram container. So that's probably not the world's greatest price. I bet you if I looked in the city here at other stores, I could probably find it the same thing. Maybe it'll still be just as expensive because it's kind of a specialty thing. But I have a feeling I might be able to find it cheaper either at my work or at Superstore here in the city, just because out in Carmen there is one grocery store and one grocery store only, so they kind of have the monopoly on it. So it was $5.29. I bought it just to give it a try. And then the dill pickle hummus, I went with the no-name brand, or the store brand, the co-op brand, just because I have had dill pickle hummus before. I know it's good, but I decided because it's cheaper, I did not want to pay $5.29 for both. I could have got the dill pickle in that one too, but I didn't want to pay $5.29 twice. So the store brand was $3.49 for the dill pickle hummus. So here you go. I spent the $6.99 on the meal. My total was $16.12. So take $7 off of that. You're looking at about $9, because you can see there. Actually, it breaks it down for you. $5.29 for one, $3.48 for the other. So total of what I spent as far as grocery or deli was $8.78. So that's what I spent on that. This does not, the chicken meal does not count because that was not a grocery budget thing. That was like an eating out expense, rather, to have something in the car. So anyway, that is it. Finally, wrapping up this video. That is it for this grocery haul video. And right on cue, my conures are amping up in the background, so it's as good a time as any to stop. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a comment down below. Give it a thumbs up. And thank you to those who have recently subscribed. And thank you to those who have been with me all along. And make sure you are subscribed if you're intending to be so. And that way you'll have notifications come up as soon as I post something, because I don't have a set posting schedule. So if you want to stay following whatever I post, you'll have to be subscribed with your notifications turned on, just because I do not have a set schedule. Right now I'm on holidays, so I've been able to do a little bit more, but once I'm back to work next week, everything will change once again, and I might be a little more sporadic. So anyway, but for now, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, definitely leave a comment down below, and we will talk to you next time. See you in the next video, everybody. Hope you're enjoying your summer, and we will see you soon.